this Mindful Monday, I thought we would talk about training cycles. It's one of those things, if you keep it in mind, it sort of helps you to stay with that 30,000 foot perspective and not get too wrapped up in the tree and forget about the forest. So what got me to thinking about this, yesterday I had a call from a friend that a customer of hers was in a town about an hour and 20 minutes from me, and she was hauling a horse from Georgia to Texas, and they overnighted at this place, and they've been trying to load this horse since about 8 o'clock in the morning. And she got in touch with me at about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I headed over there, and it took me a couple hours, hour and a half or so, but we got the horse loaded and loaded him multiple times. And it's got me into thinking about training cycles. So if we can back off and have that 30,000 foot view, you should know today, we're in February of 2023. One day this year is going to be the best ride you're going to have, and one day this year is going to be the worst ride you're going to have, and that's already a guarantee. One day this month is going to be the best ride you're going to have. One day this month is going to be the worst ride you're going to have. 1 5-minute period in every ride is going to be the worst 5 minutes of that ride, and 1 5-minute period is going to be the best 5 minutes. And that's normal. When we look at it that way, everybody would agree. But when you're in the middle of that worst 5-minute period, sometimes it's easy to get a little down or a little upset or a little disappointed in your horse, and you need to just recognize that that is normal, typical part of the journey. Another little part of training cycles, as I was loading that horse yesterday, and this is what really made me think about this, we went through 3 pretty distinct cycles in loading him in the trailer. So for instance, it didn't take me very long at all to get him where he would consistently start putting a couple feet up in the trailer, and then it was like we hit a wall, and he regressed and he starts backing up and rearing up a little bit, and I went from 10 times in a row getting 2 front feet in the trailer to no feet in the trailer for a 20-minute period. So all that happened is we peaked, and then he regressed a little bit, and then we had to work back up again. And before long, I've got him loading in the trailer pretty well, and as luck would have it, the first time he gets all 4 feet in the trailer, 2 girls that were at this big facility had come walking up, and he sees through the trailer, and all of a sudden there's 2 people standing there talking where he didn't know people were, and that threw him off. And we went downhill again, and it was another 20 minutes or so before I was able to get him back in the trailer. So we have peaks and valleys, highs and lows. It's a cycle. It's almost guaranteed whenever you're teaching a horse something new that they're going to figure it out. You're going to have that light bulb moment. You're going to have lots of licking and chewing and all of those signs, and almost immediately they're going to we will say it like this, they're going to start testing the boundaries and figuring out whether they really need to do this new thing, like put 2 front feet up in the trailer or whatever it may be. Now that's not really what's happening. It's not nearly that conscious an act. It's just a typical part of training cycles. They sort of have a peak of anxiety, they release that, we get all of the dopamine and stuff, and now they don't have quite the same motivation to repeat the behavior for us, and we kind of have to build it up again and so forth. But the big picture is cycles are normal, they're typical, they're a part of the practice, they are predictable. See them coming, just recognize that factually you are here on the map, and you're going to go down and you're going to go back up again, and that's absolutely normal and predictable. Expect it. Do not let it affect you emotionally. Do not become disappointed simply because you're on the worst ride of the year. This too shall pass.